Hi friends, welcome back to Farm Girl Diaries. My name is Caitlin and we are doing our first round of our fresh tomato basil soup. So I'm going to get these guys washed and prepped. I'm going to get them into my pot and then we're going to talk about my fresh tomato soup. Okay, these tomatoes are tomatoes that we picked a week ago together and they were green. And so we picked them and we were letting them ripen just on the dining room table. These ones are ready to be used. So I'm taking whatever I got and I am trimming off any bad parts, any bug damage, any soft spots, and getting them into a pot. There are a lot of things you can do with your green tomatoes, but this is honestly one of my favorite ways. There is nothing, in my opinion, better than a fresh tomato soup. I'm really trimming these up here. They have a lot of bug damage. Typically, I just kind of throw them in a pot whole and let them cook down. But these have a lot of bug damage or a lot of soft spots. So we just want to make sure we get rid of all of that. But fresh tomato soup for me is one of my absolute favorite things. And it is a beautiful fall day. So we are going to get this going. It's actually quite warm outside. It's probably in the 70s. And it's been chilly. So it feels lovely outside. So I'm getting this started. It is 5:15. So we're going to let this cook probably an hour or two. I want to make sure it gets nice and cool outside before I eat the soup. And then I got out a fresh loaf of bread from the freezer. I like to make sourdough and freeze it because I decided I wasn't planning on having this for dinner tonight. I was planning on having something completely different. But when I saw all these tomatoes were ripe, it was either we got to use them somehow. So this is what we're doing. And this is so much different than like canned tomato soup. Fresh tomato soup has so much flavor. I absolutely adore it. And I don't like canned tomato soup, but I love this. I think this is phenomenal. So this guy has a big old soft spot out of him, so we're going to move the soft spot. And then I don't even, if they're not bug damaged, I will throw them in as whole as I can get them. I really dealt with insect pressure this year. So these, unfortunately, I'm having to chop more than I typically would. But hey, it's still food that we grew, and it's food that is going to feed us. So, like I was saying, this is something that is better to me than canned tomato soup. I think this is the perfect thing for a fall day. This one is a gorgeous one. You get a little bit of something or other there. A little soft spot here. Beautiful. And so what you could do is if you wanted to, you could throw all of this on a baking sheet and roast these tomatoes. And all that's going to do is just add so much more flavor to these. I am not doing that today just because I really don't feel like it. We had an eventful day. Well, we had an eventful weekend. I had full plans all day long yesterday, and I'm very grateful that God changed my plans for a reason. And here, my poor dog had a UTI, so I had to take her to the vet, actually take her to the emergency vet to get her medicine. I was actually concerned she had a blockage. So my vet couldn't get us in. So we went to the emergency vet. So we spent a good chunk of the day yesterday at the emergency vet. And there's something about, like, I didn't do anything at the vet. I just sat in my truck and waited for them to come call us. This one's quite... I think he's fine, but we're not going to use this guy. he's too far gone. He has insect holes, so we're gonna let him go. I didn't do anything at the vet yesterday. I sat in the truck, waited for them to come call us. But for some reason, when we got home, I was exhausted. I think it's the emotional stress of not knowing. The emotional stress, I think, of not knowing what's going on and not being able to fix it yourself. I'm very much I want to fix it myself person. So yesterday we kind of came home. It was evening when we got home. Kind of just hung around outside. Oops, I still needed that. Shoot. It was evening when we got home yesterday, or late afternoon. And I'm like, I don't have the desire to do anything. I have the desire to just kind of chill on the couch with her and take it easy. So that is exactly what we did. No, not that one. Here. So we just chilled on the couch the rest of the evening. And now today, I did some work today. We had some things to do today, but now I'm kind of like, I don't really feel like doing too much. I feel like kind of just calling the weekend what it was and moving on to the week. And hopefully we get more motivation to do things next week. That's what I'm hoping, at least. So I had half an onion here. I'm just going to add the half an onion. I could add more, but I think right now that's probably okay. Add some garlic. And now I'm going to add some salt and pepper. And the salt helps really kind of bring out the juices of the tomato. And pepper. It's going to be so good. And now, so I do want to put the lid on because the lid will help keep that steam in the pot. What we're kind of doing is steaming these tomatoes. We're getting them completely cooked. We're getting them completely cooked down. And like I said, I'm starting this a little late. It's 5:23 now. I'm not planning on eating for at least another hour to an hour and a half. So I have the time. If you wanted this to go faster, you could turn up the heat. You can definitely make this go faster. I'm going to let this go low and slow because I have the time. That sun is very bright. So I'm just going to put this on the stove. I will check on it, but because there's so much liquid in here, and as the tomatoes cook down, this doesn't scald. So you can kind of like put it on the stove and forget about it, which I like. So I'm going to let that completely cook, and I'll bring you along for the next step. Okay, it has been an hour, and this was actually done in like 20 minutes. It doesn't take long for these tomatoes to cook down. And I actually let it go longer because it also helped thicken it a little bit so we don't have to simmer it in the second stage. So it's been thickening. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring my immersion blender, blend it, and then strain it to get out all those skins. Now, I should use a sieve instead of what I'm using. I'm using, I think, like a pasta. What are these called? It's like a name of an animal. It's not a squirrel. It's I forget what it's called. But I'm using one of these because I don't quite know where my sieve is. Or sieve. The one that looks like this that has the tiny holes. That has like the mesh and its tiny holes. I keep putting that in a safe location so that I know where it is because I do use it fairly often, especially during harvest season. And every time I use it, I'm like, I'm going to put it in a safe location so I know where it is. And every time I use it, and I put it in that safe location, I forget where that safe location is. So, this is what we're doing. Now, you don't have to strain it. I like to strain it because I do like a smoother soup. I think I need a spoon. The skins don't really dissolve or like blend up. So there are some skins that are left over typically. I don't like that. And I forgot my normal process. I like to add the onions and the garlic and all my spices after I blend the tomatoes because you blend them out. But at least all that, the onions and the garlic that I added has cooked with these tomatoes. So even though there's an onion right there, I'm gonna put him in. Even though I'm kind of blending the onions out or straining the onions out, I still got the flavor. And when I see them, I'm throwing them back in. There's a big onion. Yeah, we definitely want to keep the onions. So definitely don't do what I did and add the onions in the beginning stages. You want to add them at this point in the process. Okay, so I just have a little bit more that I want to strain. And I think this actually worked quite well. Now I'm going to put it back in this pot to cook, so I'm going to rinse this pot out. And again, this is only if you want a smoother soup. This is not a requirement, but there is the pieces. I'll bring you closer. Here are the pieces that I got out. That's basically just skins and pulp. So this is the amount of soup we have left. So the tomatoes cook down into really nothing. And so that's why I do this so often. I do it whenever my tomatoes are coming in out of the garden. And it makes for a quick and easy meal. Oops, I need to go out to the garage fridge and get my milk. Okay, I had milk in the garage fridge. I'm just going to add a splash of milk because I like a nice creamy tomato soup. Let me turn my heat back on. Get a little bit more. And then I love me just a smidgen of crushed red pepper. This isn't a lot of soup, so a little bit will go a long way. And then last but not least, I just have some fresh basil that I went out and picked from the garden. I'm just going to dice that up. Put that in here. And now I want to check this for my salt ratio. See how it is salt-wise. So good. I'm going to add just a pinch more salt. We need a little bit of salt, and then we need just a smidgen of sugar. Sugar helps with the acidity of tomatoes, and it helps kind of cut that acidity. A little bit goes a long way, so just a smidge. And I am a proponent. I think I need a little bit more. Hold on. And I am a proponent of whenever you do anything tomato based, you just need to add a smidgen of sugar. Again, you just want to cut that acidity a little bit. So I think that is going to take it to a whole new level. Let's give it a taste again. I need to let it all cook through. It is that milk cooled it down quite a bit. I need more salt. More salt. But that is delicious. That is going to be so good. I'm going to make grilled cheese to go with it. And that is going to be delicious. And this is dinner tonight. This looks amazing. It smells amazing. It's going to be phenomenal. Thank you guys for joining me on this video. If you have tomatoes still, definitely try a fresh tomato soup. It is out of this world. And you can add whatever you like to it. I know people that add potatoes even. I know people that add Italian seasoning. You can really flavor this up however you want. But it is phenomenal. Now I'm going to go put on a Food Network show and I'm going to eat my dinner. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.